Somebody out there in the world asked me if I could say a few words about Bruce Cockburn's song Rocket Launcher, and to paraphrase another song, this won't take long. I don't know a lot about Rocket Launcher. I've been playing a lot of acoustic guitar these days, and the audiences I get don't necessarily clamor for that particular song. So mostly it gets trotted out once a year for my Bruce Cockburn tributes for one of Bruce's charities, and then somebody else usually ends up wanting to play it. So, but I do know a little bit about the song, and I'll share what I have. In honor of this, I've dragged out my both of my Charvel Surfcasters because I'm such a Bruce Cockburn freak. Matter of fact, I'm going to show this to you just for fun. My bandmates made this for me because I always used to joke that if there existed such a thing as a Bruce Cockburn lunchbox, I'd own two. One in the shrink wrap for storage and one out for daily use. So they created this. They made me a Bruce Cockburn lunchbox that now sits in my little office studio. And they even included a little bottle of scotch with the Cockburn family crest on the inside, along with some other goodies. So there you have it, folks. A honest-to-God Bruce Cockburn lunchbox. So anyways, yeah, I did spend 10 years sourcing two Charvel Surfcasters. This one's intonated for standard tuning. And then the one you see behind you is intonated for a drop D. Standard tuning. When I talk songs, I usually, I might say the name of the string, E, A, D, G, B, E. I might say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then refer to the fret number. What else do you need to know? Right now I've got it sitting on the bridge pickup. I've got a little Tech 21. It's basically a Tech 21 Sans amp with a little speaker attached to it. I've got a little bit of drive. I've got it heavier on the bass, a little heavy on the mids, and a little rolled back on the treble with a little bit of drive and a little bit of reverb. Bruce, I know he's going to use delays. He always does. Your best bet is to go for 3 or 4 repeats, put it on a dotted quarter note setting, and tap out the rhythm, and you're not going to be too far off of what you need. And generally, there's going to be a little bit of tremolo in there. I think he uses an Empress. So, we're ready to start. There's 3 basic positions for the verse, and those are position number 1, index finger, A string, 7th fret, and then D string 9th, G string 9th. That's it. Second position, just bar the A, the D, and the G. You can just... That's the second position. The third position is middle finger, 8th fret, index finger... middle finger, 8th fret, E string, low E. Index finger, 7th fret, A string. That doesn't start, it's already starting to sound wrong. Yeah, that's right. So just go ahead and bar, keep your index finger barring across those 3 strings, except you're going to drop your middle finger on the low E string 8th fret, and you're going to drop your pinky on the A string 10th fret. So those 3 positions, once again, is 1, 2, 3. Now that's quite simple. And I suppose that, if you're a beginner guitar player, you can get away with just playing it like that. Here comes the helicopter. But of course, most of you don't want to do that. You want to get into the fingerstyle. I'm not very good at talking about fingerstyle, but I'll try. At least I can do it slowly for you. So, going from position 1 to position 2 to position 3, there's 2 different cycles, and he alternates between those 2 different cycles. The first one is okay. So and that was the second one. The second cycle is so the first time he goes, oh. So. The second cycle he goes. Now, you need to, anytime you're doing any sort of Bruce Cockburn picking, you need to have a lot of finger independence. And I always like to say that if you just keep on trying and trying and trying, you'll get it eventually. I mean, you will. So if you don't have a lot of finger independence when you start studying Bruce Cockburn, you will by the time you get done. So, you pretty much have everything you need for the verses. The other thing I want to say is that you need to keep that drone note going. I mean, that's a recurring theme with Bruce's guitar playing, and you also have to get this percussive effect that I don't even think that I don't have it right. But if you listen to him, I mean, there's a percussive effect all the way through it. It's not just generated from the drone notes. I mean, he's using both edges of his fingernails, the leading and the trailing edges, to get this in, and I'm only just getting it myself. So. But so it's at the end. I am using the leading edge and the trailing edge of my index finger. A note on that, by the way, Bruce. I guess you can kind of see the lighting. What I use right now is just keep them filed, keep them rounded, and I use Sally Henson's hard as wraps. Hard as nails will wear off a quarter of a way through the gig. Bruce Cockburn uses super glue, and I think he still uses it. And just coats his nails with super glue. If you look at James Taylor's website, there's a video there all about nail care that I recommend everybody look at. And I've tried his method, and it is bulletproof, but it is a bit extreme. You put on a bunch of layers of fiberglass mesh and add glue and file, and it takes a while. And since I seem to be digressing a lot today, I also recommend looking at James Taylor's video on tuning. It's something every guitar player should know about. Back to the song. So you got that part. So eventually you have to get to the chorus. So that's first position, third position, and then you're just going to go to a B minor 7th. And all that is barring all the way across the 7th fret with your ring finger on the 9th fret A string. And then just drop that down 2 half steps to get you to A minor 7th. If I had a rocket launcher. And then back up to the B minor. And then, you know, I throw in a... It's easy enough to do. If I had a rocket launcher. If I had a rocket launcher. If I had a rocket launcher. Then back to that position 3. I'd make somebody pay. Then back to position 1. So now you've got everything. It's 1, 2, 3, you know, over and over again with those fills. Then finally, then B minor, B minor 7th, and then A, B. Towards the end, sometimes, in some of his versions, I think a lot of the times he's done it, maybe all the time, he starts going... There it is. So that's just... the G, the B, and the high E string barred at the 12th fret. And then sort of a D chord where you're doing the G, the 11th, the B and the high E at the 10th fret. And then high E string 7, B string 8, G string 9, and getting your thumb over there. And a note on the thumb. My thumb tends to come over at an angle. I always hate guitarists I see that can just sort of make a straight ring with their fingers and just put on a couple, you know, they bar all their chords this way. My hand geometry doesn't work that way. Although I'm beginning to wonder that, you know, with just like with a lot of other things, that if you just keep on doing it, eventually you'll get the muscle control to get your thumb over. Because that's going to be important for the next subject, and that is the lead part. I know somebody's going to ask about that. I can't do it. I just can't. But I can tell you for sure that when he gets into his leads, basically what he's doing is first of all, he's doing that. So, you know, he's alternating 8 beats with the low E string open, 8 beats with his thumb on the 8th fret. And then he's just screwing around with E Dorian, which would be what? So that was right, wasn't it? I know he does something like... So anyways, you know, that's all I can tell you is alternate this and then just go nuts on E Dorian, and that'll be that. So you've got the verses, you got the chorus, you've got the sort of the bridge, and you've got an idea on how to do the lead. And then sometimes when he ends, it's just a... And really the whole song is actually E minor to C, right? It's... the last lick in some of the times he does it is just a so E minor with the G and the high string 3rd fret. Then take the G down. So then to a C on the 3rd fret on the B string. Then to a C chord. Open up that B string. 2nd fret G string. Drop that. So I don't know. I hope that helped you. That's what I know, and you know, you'll have the luxury of fast forwarding and reversing through this and picking up all the little things. If I wasn't clear on anything, feel free to put a comment on the YouTube. And lastly, I've implemented something new. I just want to see how it's going to work. I've got a lot of guitar costs coming up. So I've tried to implement something that's called a virtual tip jar. I've seen better guitar players than me do it, and so I'm giving it a try. If you want to, kick a couple of bucks my way. I'd appreciate it. But you know, I'm doing this mostly to pay it forward with the lessons that I've inadvertently gotten from Mr. Cockburn. So you'll see more information about that in the comments for this video. Again, I hope this helps, and you all have fun out there. Thanks.